You're driving alone on a crisp October night. The road curves sharply, trees leaning in like silent sentinels. There are no streetlights, just your headlights, cutting a narrow path through the darkness. You pass the Cheatham Annex overlook, glancing toward the York River shimmering in the moonlight. And then you see it. A white Honda Civic, balanced awkwardly at the edge of an embankment, nose pointed toward the water. What looks like a car accident turns out to be something far more sinister, and by the time police smash the glass to reach inside, what they find will set off one of Virginia's most haunting unsolved murder investigations. This is the Colonial Parkway murders, and for nearly 4 decades, the killer, or killers, have never been caught. Welcome to Crime Stands Still. I'm your host, Carrie Drobin. October 12th, 1986. A jogger makes the call. A car teeters on the edge of the York River. First responders, park rangers, arrive, expecting survivors, or at least hope of them. But inside the car, they find 2 lifeless women. 27-year-old Kathleen Thomas, a former Navy officer, and 21-year-old Rebecca Dowski, a promising student from the College of William and Mary. Their throats had been slashed so deeply they were nearly decapitated. Diesel fuel was poured over their bodies and the car. Matches, struck but unlit, lay nearby. Someone tried, desperately, to destroy the evidence, but they failed. Was it a panicked mistake or something more sinister? A message, perhaps. And here's something you might not know. Diesel fuel doesn't ignite easily. Whoever planned this either didn't know that or wanted the scene to be found. And the evidence inside the car? It's chaotic, like someone staged the scene in a hurry. A Carly Simon album on the passenger seat, a blazer on a hanger, blood-stained gym shorts, the keys still inside. The women were last seen logging off a campus computer the night before, just before fall break. A sighting at a nearby restaurant suggests they may have shared one last meal together before heading toward that dark, lonely stretch of the Colonial Parkway. Picture it. You're parked on a scenic overlook with someone you trust. You feel safe until you see flashing lights, maybe a badge. Would you open your window? Would you unlock your door? They might have, and it may have cost them their lives. Investigators find a 1-inch plastic nautical rope, still tangled in Kathleen's hair. A signature, perhaps? A calling card? Or something left behind in panic? And here's the most chilling part. Neither woman was sexually assaulted. There was no robbery. Their wallets left untouched. So why kill them? Was it rage, jealousy, hatred, a targeted hate crime, or something even darker, like a predator hunting for thrill, control, or power? As you'll soon hear, this was only the beginning, and the terror that gripped Virginia's lovers' lanes was far from over. If it hadn't rained that night, Robin Edwards would have been sitting in the bed of the truck, not the cab. She was just 14. He was 20. A date that almost didn't happen. A last-minute favor for David Nobling's mom, who had a migraine and asked him to drive his younger cousin and Robin to the movies that night. But the movie was sold out, so they went to an arcade instead. The night seemed harmless enough, until it wasn't. Later that night, Robin sneaks out again. David grabs his keys and goes out too. Neither tells anyone where they're headed. No one asks. By sunrise, they're missing. You've been there. The after-hours text, the just one more ride. What's the harm, right? But what if that ride never ends? And, hello, can we just say a 14-year-old sneaking out at night with a 20-year-old and no one is concerned? The next morning, a truck is found, abandoned along the James River. The doors hang open. The radio still plays, even though the key is barely turned in the ignition. There are a pair of women's shoes left behind. Clothes are scattered. It's as if the kids just vanished. Police shrug it off. Probably skinny dipping, they say. In 40-degree weather? With their shoes neatly placed inside the truck? I mean, this is a rocky embankment. David's dad isn't buying it. He puts on waders and searches the river himself. He finds nothing, but a jogger does. Robin is face down in the water, her body bloated from days in the current, shot in the back of the head, her shirt pulled up, pants undone, assaulted. 30 yards away, tangled in tree roots, David's body lies in almost the exact same position, also shot in the shoulder and head, also discarded like nothing more than trash. David's mom later said she knew something was wrong the moment she saw the truck, the key position, the radio still playing. She knew her son, and someone else had staged that scene. Her son had rigged his truck specifically so that the radio could play without the truck being turned on. What about you? If you saw an open truck in the dark, radio humming, would you stop? Would you look inside? Someone did. And whoever it was, they made sure those kids never left alive. Investigators found fast food, beans, they think, in both victims' stomachs. A late-night meal, perhaps, which meant that there may have been a witness. But no one came forward. No one said they saw them eating. Turns out David had been receiving death threats before he died. Well, that's an interesting fact. Robin had turned down a drug dealer known for his violent temper. Okay, think about this. Robin is 14, and she's already interacting with drug dealers. One witness pointed fingers at a man named Washington, a predator with a chilling reputation for sexual violence. But the man who tried to talk, the witness police leaned on, turned up dead on a railroad track. Accident? Suicide? Or silenced by Washington? Robin's parents believed it wasn't just a predator. Perhaps Washington had approached her, wanted a sexual favor, and Robin had rejected him. It turns out the interesting detail about Washington was that he only had anal sex. It turns out Robin, sadly, had been sodomized. Washington became a prime suspect. But Robin's parents believed it may have been someone wearing a badge, someone who knew how to make people feel safe, someone who can pull them over without raising suspicion. And yet, no one saw a thing. No fingerprints, no DNA, no suspects. At least, not yet. It started as an awkward date, one that probably never should have happened. Cassandra Haley, Sandy to her friends, was already seeing someone, a secret relationship. barely whispered about at school. She was 18, dating a boy younger, an African American. It wasn't accepted at that time, so she kept her relationship under wraps. But that night, Sandy said yes to a different invitation from a 20-year-old man named Richard Keith. They barely spoke all evening. Witnesses later recalled it was an awkward pairing, and they didn't actually believe that Cassandra or Sandy was interested in Richard, who went by Keith. The two people seemed ready to call it a night early, but when they left the party, they never made it home. Witnesses firmly believed that Keith was just giving Sandy a ride home. It was nothing romantic. But this was now April 1988, and Keith's car is found parked at the York River overlook. The door is ajar. Personal items are inside, but there's no Keith, there's no Sandy, there's not a single sign of life. No blood, no bodies, nothing. Have you ever left a party feeling uneasy, like something just wasn't right? That's how Keith's ex-girlfriend described it. She'd been at the party too. She left early, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was about to happen. She was right. Keith's brother remembers it too. Driving home along the Colonial Parkway around 2:30 in the morning, he saw a white van tailing him closely before speeding past, passing a car that looked just like his brother Keith's. It was Keith's. By sunrise, Keith's dad spotted the car again. He was on his way to work. He stopped, checked inside. He saw Sandy's purse, Keith's watch. The scene didn't look alarming to him. He assumed they'd gone for a walk along the river. So he drives away. But when authorities arrive hours later, the car looks different. The glove box is open. More clothes are scattered. Something is off. The FBI brings in dogs. They track the scent straight to the water's edge. Divers go in again and again. They find nothing. Keith and Sandy are just gone. To this day, their bodies have never been recovered. What makes this case even stranger is what the FBI discovered next. A series of witness reports about a man pretending to be a park ranger, driving a white unmarked car, which, by the way, they never drive, flashing fake credentials, stopping young couples along the parkway. Sounds pretty suspicious to me. One woman reported a chilling encounter. She rolled down her window. He looked at her license, told her to be careful, and then let her go. She drove off, her heart racing. That man was never identified. Was this the same man who had stopped Keith and Sandy? Did they trust him just long enough to let him get close? Would you have trusted him? Would you have rolled down your window, handed over your license, followed instructions? The FBI believed the killer was learning, evolving. The scenes were getting cleaner, the evidence scarcer. 2 kids vanished into nothing. But the killings weren't over yet. It was supposed to be a weekend trip, just a quick ride down I-64 to Virginia Beach. They never made it. Labor Day weekend 1989, Daniel Lauer and Anna Maria Phelps, brother-in-law and sister-in-law-to-be, load up Daniel's Chevy Nova and head east. But somewhere along that route, something goes terribly wrong. Their car is later found abandoned at a rest stop, but it's on the wrong side of the highway, heading west, not east. The windows are down, the keys in the ignition, and a single marijuana roach clip is hanging from the window. Have you ever stopped at a rest area in the middle of the night? The stillness, the isolation. You never think twice until you do. Who or what could have been waiting for them there? Police processed the scene and assured the public, crazy enough, this isn't connected to the Colonial Parkway murders, they insisted. But the families weren't so sure. The signs were too familiar. A staged car, personal items left behind, no signs of a struggle, at least not there. Weeks later, 2 hunters stumble upon something in the woods, not far from the rest stop. 2 decomposed bodies. Dental records confirm the worst. It's Daniel and Anna Maria. There are no visible injuries, except for a small cut on Anna Maria's finger, a sign that she may have tried to fight back, but that's all investigators have. Authorities tested the tires on Daniel's car. There was no mud, no gravel, which meant someone drove that car to the rest stop after Daniel and Anna Maria were already gone. The killer had staged it again, and this time they left fewer clues than ever before. No fingerprints, no DNA, nothing but an empty locket lying 50 feet from the bodies. A locket with pictures of Anna Maria's nephews inside. By now, the public wasn't buying the unrelated cases narrative. There were 4 double homicides, 4 years, all along the same corridor, all young couples, all left exposed, violated, or vanished. Too many coincidences, too much silence. And then, the murders just stopped. 8 lives were taken. 4 couples, silenced. A killer, still out there. And the question that still haunts Virginia, was it one or more than one? And why did it stop? Or did it? What kind of a killer pulls off 4 double homicides? Double homicides, by the way, are some of the rarest. But we had 4 in 4 years, 8 victims, no arrests. FBI profilers, some of the best minds in behavioral analysis, have studied these cases for decades. And while they don't all agree, they have proposed some possible theories. The first one is that the single serial offender theory, right? Could it have been the work of one man? One predator evolving and perfecting his control, learning from each mistake. His first murder scene was messy, it was overkill, with rope and knives and fuel. And then it gets cleaner. Guns, staged scenes, no bodies, until finally the trail runs cold. FBI experts believe that the killer showed signs of someone comfortable in high-stress situations, possibly military or law enforcement, someone who knew how to separate couples without a struggle, someone who made people feel safe until it was too late. That leads to the law enforcement impersonator theory. Witnesses reported a man pulling over drivers in a white unmarked car, flashing a badge, asking for licenses and registrations, letting some go, but maybe not all. What if the killer wasn't a cop at all, but someone who knew how to look like one? A predator hiding behind the illusion of authority. A park ranger. Each scene suggested that the victims were caught off guard. The doors were unlocked, the wallets were open as if they were presenting their ID. There were keys in the ignition. Some of them had the glove box open, as if reaching for registration. I mean, think about it. Have you ever second-guessed the flashing lights in your rearview mirror? What if the person stopping you wasn't who they claimed to be? Then there's the multiple killers or copycat theory. The FBI wasn't the only agency working these cases, and not all of them believed in a single suspect. There were different weapons, different methods, different counties. In short, it was a clusterfuck. What if these were separate predators, opportunists who knew the Parkway's reputation, and they used it? Then there was the stalker or personal motive theory, right? Personal fixation on somebody. Maybe somebody knew one or more of the victims. Maybe it started as revenge or jealousy or hatred. Kathleen Thomas and Rebecca Dowski's murder, for instance, showed signs of personal rage. There was overkill, staging, no sexual assault. Could their killer have been someone hiding a secret or acting on a hate-fueled obsession? I mean, think about it. And then there's this one, which I actually think might be pretty plausible. The college student theory. All of the murders happened in the spring or fall, around college breaks. Could the killer have been a student, someone who disappeared after graduation, right? Think about it. 4 years, 4 breaks, 4 double homicides. We may never know for sure, but the families, the profilers, the few witnesses still living have never stopped asking the same question. Why? What do you think? Was it one killer? A professional? A predator hiding in plain sight? They were sons and daughters, friends, lovers, students, young lives just beginning. Kathleen Thomas, Rebecca Dowski, David Knobling, Robin Edwards, Keith Call, Cassandra Haley, Daniel Lauer, Anna Maria Phelps, 8 names, frozen in time. What began as a scenic drive through Virginia's history became a predator's hunting ground. And though the cases have grown cold, the families have never stopped searching for answers. Bill Thomas, Kathleen's brother, and families of the other victims continue to fight for justice. They speak out. They work with law enforcement. They hold vigils. They remember. Because someone has to. Maybe that someone is you. Maybe you grew up in Virginia. Maybe you drove that same stretch of road. Maybe you heard something, saw something, know something. It's never too late to come forward. If you have any information, contact the FBI or the Virginia State Police, or reach out anonymously through Crime Stoppers, because justice is still waiting.